Hey everybody, this is Dave Mulcahy here with Pack the Mats, and today we are talking with Rick Bjorquist. How we doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on it today.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. Rick is one of our coaches here at Pack the Mats. As I tell a lot of people, I don't own an academy, so I need to bring on the experts that do, so they can help our school owners, improve their operations and the things that they're doing inside of their academy. So appreciate you coming on. You own a couple of academies, so you've got that that experience of once we get them in the door, how all of that goes. And that's what I want to talk about today is, this book came out, Money Models by Alex Hormozi. Everybody's talking about their money models. You have had a pretty good money model in your academy, and this is something that people struggle with a lot. So I want to talk about that, the martial arts money model, maybe we'll call it that, and see if we can get some more interest here on YouTube. But so your attraction offer is a paid trial. You guys do 2 weeks for $49. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yep. So there's a huge, if you guys are online a whole lot, there's been a lot of conversations in a bunch of the different groups, paid trial versus free. There's the argument that the free trials get the window like watchers, and the paid trial gets a more interested. It really comes down to what works best for that academy and what happens in their communities. So we have found that the offer of our paid trial, it helps us. Okay. Do we use free trials? Of course we do. When we go out to events, we'll give away 4 or 6 free classes to come in as well. So we utilize both. I won't say that either is better, but our online advertising with Pack the Mats is always a paid offer.
Okay. Yeah, I think, we talk through that with each academy, depending on whether they have help in the academy to be able to run a free class, or if they're by themselves, sometimes trials work better. So the idea is, though, the attraction gets them in the door, whatever that is. Now, once you get them in the door, whether you're selling free, $29, $69, $49, whatever your offer is, the idea is that you're probably not going to be profitable. What it's going to cost to get them in the door is going to be more than that free $49, $29, $69, whatever it is. So now it's really wherever that process is, once they get the door, that's how you actually make money so that your advertising is profitable.
Right.
How do you guys do that? What's your process? So they come in, they get their $49, but you offer them an upsell, so to say, to get their full enrollment. Is that right?
Right. So part of our tour, we take them on a tour of the academy. Personally, I believe every academy should have a tour. It doesn't matter if you got 1,000 square foot school or a 10,000 square foot school, because we are relying on what they see to be part of the value. And if we don't point out the value to it, then all they're going to do is compare us to the Parkway districts or all these other cheaper versions. So we always remind them that, hey, you're coming in on that offer of 4 classes for $49. Those are yours no matter what. At the end of our lesson today, we will make you an offer to save $179. So again, old concept of a price drop, not that we're lowering our price, but we're putting it into the concept so that they're not going to be sticker shocked when we actually make that offer. We run them through our evaluation. I know schools that run 0 evaluations, they put them on the mat and they're successful. Our model is that we run one-on-one evaluations where we can actually take the time to find out what the parents want, what are their pain points is a common term nowadays, and how we can help.
Okay. And then so you work through that, and then at the end, when do you make them the offer, or how do you move into that?
After we run our introductory lesson, we have a flip chart that shows them now, based on what you've seen. As a reminder, your class, the trial is yours. However, to get started today and receive our $179 equipment package, which is our uniform, our backpack, our paddle, a t-shirt, a water a bottle, that's their enrollment to enroll today. So they're receiving free to enroll today. Now, again, our cost on our packages, everybody should know, if our retail is X, our wholesale is Y, right? So we have that figured into our down payments. So we have a 3 down payment tier. If they want 11 months at $175 a month, it's X amount. If they want to lower it, well, now they put down $500, or if they want their monthly payment to be lower, well, now it's another like price. And I should get ahead of myself. We show them our paid in full option first. So our most budget friendly option is our paid in full. It's 12 months for X amount, and then we're quiet. We let them choose. Well, I'm not sure we can afford that. Is it the amount, or would it help if I split that into 2 installments? So again, we don't let the objection get in the way. We talk about it with our team all the time. Objections are cries for help. Because if they don't like it, if they didn't have a good experience, they'll walk out the door. We've all had those students. But when somebody actually gives you an objection, well, I don't know, they're asking for us for a way to help them. Okay. And then if they say, no, we're not able to do that right now, no worries. If an offer of savings comes up in the future, can I offer you something in the future? They say yes or no. Well, then we put a tag in our CRM that we can reach them in the future, like for holiday sales and things like that. Then we go to our budget monthly.
So just back up real fast. So you offer them the pay in full. This is they're going to pay for 12 months. Is it 12 months up front? Yep. Okay. If they can't do that, you offer to split it into 2. So 2 6-month payments.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, it's not 6 months apart. It's actually we get that paid in full within first half now, first half, ideally next month, max of 2 months. So we'll get that paid in full at the maximum half 2 day. Maybe we won't do it in September, but then we'll do it in October. So we get it up front.
So within a month or 2, you're getting the full full year's payment. You're just splitting into 2 payments for them to make it easier.
Yeah. And one of my mentors years ago reminded me that our paid in full price is our tuition price. It should not be our discounted price. The monthly is like buying a car. Well, now there's a finance charge. So your monthly should total up to be more than your paid in full price. Because again, we have transaction fees nowadays, right? Every time we use a credit card, depending on the processor, right? So your budget monthly, if they're paying you monthly, that total should be higher than your paid in full price. But your paid in full price is not a discount. It is actually what the value of your program is. If you go buy a car and I can pay it in cash, it's one price. If I got to pay it off in 5 years, it's going to be another price because of interest.
Okay. So you're basically financing them over the 12 months is the way.
Yep. And that's a different concept for a lot of martial arts school owners because they feel that, well, I'm giving them a discount. No, that's what your program value actually is.
Got it. Love that. Okay. So then, they declined the 2 payment option. They can't afford that. What's your next play from there?
So an example of our pricing is we have our sheets. So this is my 7 and 9 program. So we have a 12-month paid in full, and then we also have a downsell of a 7-month paid in full. Okay, so those are my 2 paid in full options. And the reason why we do that is based on some statistics I was told years ago. If you offer a 6-month and a 12-month program, 70% or more will take the 6-month. If you offer a 7-month and a 12-month, 72 to 76% will actually take the 12-month. So that was, I'm not sure where those statistics came from, but they stuck in my head. So our options are a 7-month and a 12-month.
Okay. Have you seen that play out? You see more people take the 12?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Our
7-month program is popular up in our smaller school because there's a lot of families that will enroll over the fall into the spring, and then they take the summer off.
Got it.
So it's a nice option to give our families that, hey, if they're going to take some time off or if they're going to travel, because we have a fairly large contingent of some European families and stuff that they'll go overseas for a month or 2 at a time.
Okay. So they decided to either do the 7-month or the 12-month, but they don't want to pay in full. What happens then?
So then we go into the budget monthly, and I don't offer a budget monthly for the 7-month. The 7-month is only a paid in full option. Okay. And the reason that we phrase that like that is that's our minimum amount of time, 6 to 7 months, to see sustainable change and improvement in their child. If they just want to sign up for 2 months, or if they want to try it out, well, that's what the trial program is. But we go through the paid in full, we go to the 12-month budget like monthly, and we have a down payment like a system. Depending on how much they want to put down, it lowers their monthly tuition.
Okay.
And again, well, like, we're not sure if we can do that. Is it the down payment or is it the monthly tuition? So we follow up with that with the objection response. Is it the down payment? Because I can split that down like payment into half now and half in 2 weeks, and then your first monthly installment can start on September 25th, right?
So a month from today, for example.
A month like from today is when their monthly tuition starts. So we collect our tuition 3 times a month, the 1st, the 15th, and the 25th. And the reason why we do that is depending on where people join us in that next month. If it's always the 1st, I don't always want to give them 2 weeks or 3 weeks of free time, or the middle of the month or the end of the month. So if they sign up, it'll be the 1st, the 15th, or the 25th.
Love it. Okay. So then they can decide, okay, if it's down payment's the issue, you just increase the monthly so they have a higher monthly amount. Is that right?
We actually split the down payment into 2 installments, half now, half in 2 weeks. And then the monthly would start at the end of the next month.
So you're always getting a down payment of something.
We're getting a down payment of something all the time.
Okay.
So an example of that is they come in, they see the ad for the 4 classes for $49. We remind them it's theirs no matter what. However, we're going to make an offer to get enrolled today to save $179. We do the tour, we do the introductory lesson. We start out offering the paid in full. By enrolling today, you're going to receive the equipment package, and there's a big picture, there's a display of it, and then if no, we can't do it, we try the objection response. Well, then we have our budget monthly option of X. If they give us an objection, I'm not sure if we can do that. Is it the down payment or the monthly tuition? Because if they say it's the down payment, then I can split the down payment up into 2 installments. Our CRM allows us to also to split up their monthly tuition, which we've done for several of our families, where we'll take the monthly tuition and divide that into 2. So on the 1st and the 15th, now it comes out of the 15th and the 25th. So we're trying to find out, is it the down payment or is it the monthly tuition? If they can do the down payment, but they're not sure about the cost, well, then we can split that into 2 installments.
Okay.
And then it's we just want our kid to try the program. That's okay. Then what we can do is we'll get you started today on our 4 classes for $49. What size t-shirt does your child wear? Because our trials include a 4-color t-shirt and their white belt.
Okay. So they always have the option to start. You're not changing anything from them. You're just making them an offer that, hey, if they're really excited about martial arts and they want to join today, they can get all of this. They can save some money by enrolling today versus doing it in 4 weeks when they're going to do it.
Exactly. 4 weeks, 4 classes,
Or
2 weeks.
Yeah.
However the academies do it. Now, if they take the trial and they pay us the $49, we remind them that if you enroll, by the end of the 1st class, we'll still give them the $179 savings. So the downsell becomes the upsell of starting on that 49. They have a rockin' 1st class. We're going to offer them to get started before their 2nd class. If they started their 2nd class, then if they enroll by the 3rd class, now we're going to take that $49 and apply it against their equipment, a package, so they don't lose anything.
Okay.
So again, we're giving them incentives to get started, even if they take the paid trial.
Okay. So you'll just credit them if they say let's say after 1 class, they come in and they say, or 1 class or 2 classes, you had said.
If they come in at the end of that 1st class or at the beginning of their 2nd class going, nope, John had a great time, we want to enroll them. Well, then I'm just going to give them that equipment package for free, and then take the $49 off their down payment.
Okay.
If they come in on that 2nd class, or even that 3rd class, well, they've already missed that incentive to join. So now it's all right, we're going to give you full credit of that $49 off your equipment package. So you're going to save X. Okay.
Got it. And do you set up a meeting halfway through to meet with them, or you just kind of let them do their trial and kind of wait to see what happens?
We have, we still do paper attendance cards.
Okay.
So an example is that I have bright yellow cards that sit at the front counter. So every time the trial student comes in, they have to stop at the front counter to get their attendance card. So it makes us talk to them about how Johnny's doing, how Susie's enjoying classes. So I would call it more of a chair chat, where it's not a sit down hard like meeting, hard sell. Because you bring people into the office, it's kind of like going to the car like dealership. Now you're going to get hard sold.
Yeah.
We don't want a hard sell. How are they doing? Just as a reminder, if you get started by X time, you get X.
Okay. And what do you see? Like, what's the breakdown? I know a lot of going back to the enrollment where people come in on the trial and then they get offered. A lot of people feel like it's a bait and switch, right? They don't like the idea of them coming in on one offer and making them a different offer. They feel like it's car sales or something, right?
A lot of school owners I've talked to, well, they don't like it. Well, but I'm not doing a bait and switch.
Right.
We tell them up front, you're coming in on that 4 classes for $49. Those are yours no matter what today. I just want to let you know that I will make you an offer today to save $179 if you like what you see to get started today.
Okay.
And we start our entire process with that quote verbatim.
Okay.
If they come in from an event and we gave away 4 free classes, hey, Mr. Mulcahy, Donovan's 4 free classes are yours no matter what. However, if at the end of our appointment today, you like what you see, and Donovan had a great experience, we're going to offer you a way to save $179 today.
Love it.
I'm not bait and switching them. I am giving them an incentive to enroll.
Yeah, and an offer to save money, right? I mean,
yep.
Which is who doesn't like that?
Exactly.
And one thing that we talk about with school owners is being able to move. There's a lot of pieces involved with the initial enrollment for you. You've got the trial, you've got the uniform, you've got the equipment package, you've got the term. So there's a lot of different pieces that you can move around the chessboard to make this work. Do you guys include your uniform in the $49 trial?
No, what we offer ours in the trial is our t-shirt and a white belt.
Okay.
I want them to wear my logoed gear. I want them to feel like they're part of things, but not 100% part of everything. I want that child to want to have that uniform. I've met other academies that will that will give away a plain white uniform. For me, I did not have a positive experience with a lot of people with that, and that was an added expense that I didn't have to add to our trials.
Yep. So the training uniform or the t-shirt and the white belt,
yep,
that kind of gets them so they feel a part of it. Maybe not 100%, but at least they're not out there in like regular clothes and feel completely like an oddity.
Right. Again, the kids can wear shorts, sweatpants, depending on the time of year for their bottoms, but they get a white belt. They get a school shirt. Our academy, they earn stripes every week on what skills that we're working on, so the child can start to earn their first experience, like those sorts of things.
Okay. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit because I didn't ask you to have these numbers ahead of time. What do you think is the number of people that they come in on the trial, you make them the offer to enrollment? How many actually go enrollment versus actually sticking with the trial, do you think?
We get probably over 3/4 of the people that came in because of the trial. And they enrolled directly into the academy.
So 3/4 enroll when they come in.
Okay. Yes. So we get a down payment of some sort, depending on a paid in full or a budget like monthly light program, on over 3/4 of our students that will come in on the offer, because that's what inspired them to come in. And then, the ones that take the trial, we get over 3/4 of them to enroll at as well, because now they've actually paid a little bit like down. They weren't sure, maybe their kid wasn't super interactive like during the first class or their first evaluations, or their child's quit everything else, because we've met students like that before, that the parents just want to see. Well, now if the child is having a great time, a great experience, that's what the parents want to see. How does they function in a class environment? And because we keep their attendance cards at our front counter, we talk to them every class they come in until either they choose not to join us because Johnny is struggling or he's not doing well or other commitments come up, or it's just mom and dad aren't seeing the value, which does happen, which that comes back to us and our team then.
Yeah. So but any obstacles that are coming up, you're able to address them right away because you're talking to them at the front desk. You're keeping those lines of communication
Yes.
open. Have you found doing that? Like some people do a 6-week trial, you do a 2-week, some do a 4-week. Why do you go with 2-week versus going with the longer ones? I know you've done the longer ones in the past.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the industry did the 6 weeks for 69 on that back pre like COVID was to give the people more of an experience. We've got bounced back and forth between the 6 weeks, the 4 weeks, the 2 weeks. We've found that 2 weeks is enough time for families to have a positive experience like with us. More time didn't necessarily always mean more enrollments. So we experimented with it, and we found that the four classes, like whether it's free out at an event or it's paid, because it's online, then it is what it is. But we find that the 2 weeks is where they feel comfortable enough to make a choice.
Okay. Anything I'm missing? I guess wrapping this back around to the beginning and talking about the money models book. If you're spending, with advertising, you could spend. It's not 2017, 18, 19 anymore where you're going to be able to get people in for under $100. You're probably spending between 100 to 200, some cities upwards of $300 to get a student in the door when it comes to advertising in your marketing agency, or whether you're running it yourself or you have a staff doing it or whatever. How much are you? So you're not going to make any money walking away with $49 to $69. So how much are you walking away with a typical down payment, would you say, to help, make sure that you're making your marketing profitable?
The hardest thing to answer that one is I can talk about my area here and then talk about my other school up in Wisconsin, and they're two totally different demographics. So the hardest thing for me was trying to look at, I did a comparison on what does cheer, what does gymnastics, what does tumbling, what do all these other kids' activities kind of charge on a monthly level. And yes, there's a lot of naysayers. Well, we do more than that. You're right. So we should be a little bit more than what these other organizations are charging. Now, what should your down payment be? Well, an example could be if you're not giving away anything, and at a minimum, your down payment should be your first month's tuition. That's a minimum, a first month, and then it starts 11 months at X. That would be a minimum. And then you start figuring out what kind of disposable income is in your area. How many Starbucks are near you? How many doggy daycares are near you? How many of these things like that are niceties that people are willing to spend money on? In our area here in Illinois, we go down our main road about every 1.5 to 2 miles. There's a Starbucks. Drives me crazy, right?
Maybe less.
Maybe
maybe over the block.
But the concept behind that is, if you haven't done the research on how Starbucks picks their locations, there's a disposable income here that our families are willing to spend. We just have to show them the value. So what are those kinds of things that are around us, right? Montessori schools, like some of the higher end grocery stores, the Trader Joe's, those sorts of things, because that's not where normal people go, I guess, that are worried about every month's dollar.
Right.
And then there's some of the negative things to look at. Okay, are you looking at opening up a school and there's a ton of pawn shops? Is there a ton of liquor stores? So there are some negative things that you got to look for as much as the positives. But if we go back to down payment, it's at a minimum, you should be collecting your first month of whatever your tuition is.
So that alone will take you from $49, let's say, to the $150 to $200 range, right? Yeah. Right away, you're tripling the amount of money that you're making, quadrupling possibly.
Yeah, I mean, our monthly tuition is $175 for my basic martial arts, right? Okay. And so if I was only collecting $49 that 179 or that 175 I'm collecting is 3 times, like 3.25 times more than I would have collected. We do talk about our dynamic growth like number. How many new students do you need every month? What's your quit rate, right? If you're losing 5 students a month, well, you need to enroll 5 students a month. Well, if I have 5 students a month that I'm enrolling or bringing in on a trial at $50 a piece, that's $250 worth of revenue. If I bring in 5 students that are paying that first month's tuition at $175, I'm now like bringing in almost $1,000.
Yeah, and then we encourage a lot of our schools that sign up to even think about. Some do registration fees or doing like a first month, last month where you collect, because especially if you have a 30-day quit notice, why not have where they get the last payment? They've already made their last payment. So at least you kind of have that. So that would take you from $175 to $350. You have almost, I don't know what the math is. Let me see here. I don't know. You like 7X, you
7X'd it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We did first and last, like for a while. Now we just call it a down payment.
Okay.
So everybody who buys like anything, especially a car, understands what a down payment is.
Sure.
The more you put down, the less your monthly like tuition is.
Okay.
So hypothetically, like say if I'm giving away my package, $175 value, and I'm going to collect my first month's tuition, then that goes into the registration or the down payment. So now that's my base down payment is $350.
Okay. I mean, it all adds up, right? I mean, if you're selling a total program amount for 12 months for however much, let's say it's like $2,000, taking the $350, whether you justified as first month, last month, or just $350 down payment, you're still coming off the total. So the math still maths at the end of the day.
The hardest thing is, I believe a lot of martial arts schools go, well, people aren't going to pay that in my area. I've got an associate out in California that it's actually a hidden dojo. It's back on this back street, and Derek does a fabulous job. It's not the best location, all these other things. It comes down to the value. It's not the 2018 and 2019 where you can toss out ads online and people will flock through your doors. We actually have to show what's the value behind their kids. And unfortunately, more kick punch isn't going to be the value.
Right. Yeah. I mean, 6-7 years ago, there was one school, maybe 2 in a town that were advertising. Now every single one is advertising. And if they're not, they're just probably not bringing in students because there's, those ads are making a difference in most areas.
Ads make a difference, and the ways to monopolize on that would be hey, if you want to have ads, and then of course, you go out and you do your fall events in your community. Now they see you online, they see you in person. Now there's a level of trust being built. Now, if you are able to have, that online presence where you're not just showing how your kids kicking and punching, but you're talking about how we develop them. Right now, we become like the authority. Even schools that have been open for 20, 30 years, if they're not advertising, a lot of them are struggling because the newer ones see the value in it.
And a big part of that though is making sure that your back end system, your money model, actually makes you money. Because if you're just selling $49 and you want to just break even, let's say you're spending $750 a month on ad spend only, you need to get 15 students in the door to even break even. Where
in the first 30 days,
just in those 30 days. So every month you got to be able to bring in 15, otherwise you're gonna be losing money, especially if your retentions isn't on point and you're churning more than that 5%. So if you can switch it to 350, you need 2 students and you're already profitable.
Yep.
That's a huge difference.
It's huge because, again, depending on what you're giving, right? Now again, even if you're just collecting your first month's tuition and you're doing like a $750, say you have $150 a month like tuition, or just like say that it's $100, because I know that there's still schools out there like doing $100 a month. Well, okay, now you basically need eight enrollments to break even on that month's expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they stay like with you for 6 to 9 months at an average, that's where you grow your monthly like revenue, as long as your backdoor isn't, as long as you're not like losing $5 a month and you're only like $5 a month.
Right. Love it. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate your time coming in. I want to be able to do these a little bit more often. Maybe we'll get them out every few weeks or every month, especially we're building out some new systems that I don't want to talk about yet, but I'm excited to share in a couple months that I think will be a huge add-on for a lot of martial arts schools. So appreciate you. If you guys haven't, like and subscribe. We'll try to get more content out like this. Have a great rest of your day, sir. Appreciate you.
Well, I think, sir.
Thank you. Bye.